two people, same salary, same city, same starting point. 25 years later, one retires comfortably. The other is still working because they have no choice. Nothing dramatic happened to either of them. No inheritance, no lucky break, no catastrophic mistake. The only difference was a handful of simple principles that one of them understood and actually used. That's what this video is about. And I promise, by the end of it, you'll see exactly what those principles are, and more importantly, why most people never apply them even when they know what they are. Most people don't fail with money because they're irresponsible. They fail because they spend years looking for a complicated answer when the real answer was always sitting right in front of them. Go looking for financial advice online and within 10 minutes, you're buried. Real estate versus index funds, crypto versus bonds, active investing versus passive, side hustles versus salary negotiation. Every voice louder than the last. Each one convinced their approach is the right one. So most people do something completely understandable. They wait. They'll start when they understand it better. Next year, when things are more stable, when they have a bigger amount to work with, when life settles down a little. And while they wait, time passes, quietly, irreversibly. Here's what the data actually shows. The people who build real wealth over time almost never use a complicated strategy. They use a few basic principles, applied consistently, for a long time, without overthinking it. Simple is not the beginner version. Simple is the version that actually works. The sooner that clicks, the sooner everything changes. Take two co-workers, same company, same paycheck, same city. Person A gets a raise. Within 3 months, new apartment, newer car, nicer restaurants. Life got better, but savings stayed exactly the same. Actually, if anything, the new car payment made things slightly tighter. Person B gets the same raise, keeps expenses roughly the same as before. Feels a little boring, honestly, but quietly directs that extra money somewhere intentional every single month. 5 years later, Person B has $40,000 saved and growing. Person A is genuinely confused about where all the money went. Same income, same city, completely different outcome. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it quietly destroys more financial potential than almost any bad investment ever could, because it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like progress. It feels like enjoying what you worked for. But here's the reality. The gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's where wealth actually gets built, not the income itself. The gap. Protect it deliberately. Widen it when you can, and direct it somewhere on purpose instead of letting it disappear into the background noise of daily life. That one habit alone, maintained consistently, separates the two people in that story more than any investment strategy ever could. Here's a comparison that changes how most people think about debt. The stock market returns roughly 8 to 10% annually over long periods. That's what serious long-term investors are aiming for. That's considered a solid return. The average credit card in America charges somewhere between 20 and 24% interest annually. Think about what that means practically. Every dollar sitting in credit card debt is costing more per year than any investment is realistically going to earn. There is no strategy, no fund, no stock, no approach that reliably beats eliminating a guaranteed 20% drain on your finances. Imagine trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. That's what investing while carrying high interest debt actually looks like. The water going in is real, but so is the water draining out, faster than most people realize. What tends to work for people who escape this is treating high-interest debt like a genuine financial emergency, not a background inconvenience to chip away at slowly. An emergency that gets attacked aggressively before building anything else. Pay it off, close the drain, then start filling the tub. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a regular savings account. not invested, not working hard, just sitting there. Most people find this deeply unsatisfying advice. Money that isn't growing feels like waste, like missed opportunity, like leaving something on the table. But here's what that cash buffer actually does that nobody talks about enough. It stops one bad month from undoing everything. Think about what life looks like without it. Car needs an unexpected repair. That's credit card debt. Medical bill shows up. That's credit card debt. Job ends with 2 weeks' notice. That's panic. That's pulling from investments at the worst possible moment. That's months of progress gone in a week. Now think about what the same situations look like with 3 months of expenses saved. Car repair, annoying Tuesday. Medical bill, handled. Job ends. You have time to find something good instead of grabbing the first thing available out of desperation. The emergency fund isn't there to make money. It's there to make sure one unexpected event doesn't become a financial catastrophe. That's its entire job. And it does that job better than anything else could. Build it before you focus on anything else. It makes everything that comes after it significantly more stable. Here's something that genuinely surprised me when I first understood it properly. The single biggest financial advantage most ordinary people have is one almost nobody actually uses: the ability to do nothing. Sit with that for a second, because it sounds almost too simple to be meaningful. Professional investors managing billions of dollars at hedge funds and banks cannot do nothing. They have clients who need quarterly updates, performance targets they have to hit. They have to justify every decision constantly. They are paid to be seen doing something, so they trade. They react to news. They adjust positions. They try to time the market. They try to stay ahead. And the data, consistently over long periods, shows that most of them lose to the simple strategy of buying a broad market index fund and never touching it. You, an ordinary person with a retirement account, no clients, no quarterly reports, no one watching your every move, can simply do nothing. You can automate your contributions, close the app, go live your life, stop checking the balance every week. That boring, passive, do-nothing approach has created more ordinary millionaires over the last 50 years than every complicated active strategy combined. The advantage is sitting right there, completely available, completely free. And most people never take it because it doesn't feel like enough. It doesn't feel like doing something. It feels too simple to be the real answer. It is the real answer. Two investors, both start at 30 with $300 a month. Person A invests every single month without exception, through market drops, through scary headlines, through every moment when stopping felt like the responsible thing to do. Person B pauses every time the market drops significantly, waits until things feel more stable, restarts when confidence comes back. Perfectly reasonable behavior, emotionally speaking. Same income, same intention, same starting point. 25 years later, the gap between their portfolios is enormous. Not because Person A made better investment choices or picked better stocks, because Person A never stopped contributing. The market dropped hard in 2008. It recovered completely, and then some. It dropped again in 2020, faster than almost anyone expected. It recovered again, faster than almost anyone expected. It will drop again. The exact timing unknown. The recovery, historically, inevitable. The people who stayed invested through every one of those moments came out dramatically ahead. Not because they were smarter or braver, because they had made a decision once. Automate, stay invested, don't react. And that decision did all the heavy lifting. Make the decision once, then let the decision run itself. Here's the math that makes the cost of delay feel real. $300 a month, starting at 30. Historical average market return of roughly 8% annually. By age 65, approximately $580,000. Same $300 a month. Starting at 40 instead. Same return. By age 65, approximately $280,000. 10 years of waiting. $300,000 gone. Not lost in a bad investment. Not taken by a market crash. Not stolen. Just quietly evaporated because time passed that can never be recovered. And here's what makes that number even more striking. The person who started at 40 contributed for 25 years. They put in real money, real effort, real discipline. They did almost everything right. The person who started at 30 just started earlier. That's the entire difference. And that difference compounded into $300,000. The most expensive financial mistake most people make is not a wrong decision. It's a delayed one. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Not next month. Not after the holidays. Today. Every day, the financial media has a new reason to pay attention. Market about to crash. Now is the perfect time to buy. This sector is going to change everything. This recession is different. This recovery is different. And every day, millions of people make emotional financial decisions based on content designed to maximize their attention, not to help them build wealth. Here is what Financially Ahead people actually do with the daily financial news cycle. Almost nothing. Their contributions are automated. Their investments are already chosen. Their plan is already set. It doesn't change based on what the market did last Tuesday or what some analyst predicted for next quarter. This isn't ignorance. It's discipline. The market will always have a reason to panic if you're looking for one. The headlines will always find the most alarming angle on whatever happened yesterday. That's how attention works. Calm is a financial strategy. Ignoring the noise is a skill. And over a 20 or 30-year investing period, it might be the most valuable skill of all. Most decisions that hurt people financially feel completely reasonable in the moment they're made. A car payment that stretches the monthly budget because the number itself sounds manageable. Spending the raise within a few months of getting it because it feels earned. Delaying retirement contributions another year because right now the money could do other things that feel more immediate. Each decision makes sense in isolation. The pattern of short-term thinking accumulated over years creates two completely different financial lives. Same income, same opportunities, completely different result. One question reframes the entire calculation. Not, what does this cost me this month? But, what does this cost me over the next 10 years? That $500 monthly car payment is $30,000 over 5 years. That same money invested instead, over 20 years, grows to roughly $150,000. Same decision, completely different frame, completely different outcome. The people who end up ahead financially aren't making dramatically different decisions. They're making the same decisions through a different lens. Decades instead of months. Future instead of now. That shift in how you think about money, more than any specific financial product or strategy, is what actually changes the trajectory. There's a type of person who shows up over and over again in financial research, and they're worth understanding. No famous name, no startup, no inheritance. A regular job, teacher, accountant, nurse, mid-level manager, for 30 or 40 years. The kind of career that never makes headlines and rarely comes with a dramatic salary. They drove modest cars, lived in a house that was comfortable but never extravagant, didn't talk about money at dinner parties, didn't have a complicated investment portfolio or a financial advisor on speed dial. And when they retired, they had more money than most people who earned twice their salary ever managed to accumulate. What did they actually do? Spent less than they earned, consistently and deliberately, eliminated high interest debt before it could compound against them, kept an emergency fund so that unexpected expenses stayed inconveniences instead of becoming setbacks, invested automatically every month without drama or interruption, ignored the noise, thought in decades. That's the complete list. Nothing hidden underneath. No secret level that unlocks once you get advanced enough. Just ordinary principles applied consistently over a long time by an ordinary person who decided to start and never stopped. This person exists in real life, more than you'd think. And the only thing separating them from someone with a similar income who ended up with nothing is that they understood these principles. And they actually started. 7 principles. That's all this comes down to. Protect the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Eliminate high-interest debt like the emergency it actually is. Build a cash buffer so life's inevitable surprises don't undo your progress. Invest automatically and don't stop when it gets uncomfortable. Do nothing when everything around you says panic. Think in decades, not months. 7 principles. No complexity hiding underneath. No secret version that works better once you have more money. The 97% who never get there aren't failing because they lack intelligence. They're not failing because they lack discipline or opportunity or the right information. They're failing because they kept waiting for something complicated enough to feel like it deserved to work. This deserves to work. And it does. The evidence for that is 50 years of ordinary people quietly building extraordinary financial security by doing exactly what I just described. You don't need the perfect moment. You don't need a bigger starting amount. You don't need to understand everything before you begin. You need to start today with whatever you have right now, because the financial life you'll be living in 20 years is being built by the decisions you make this week, not someday. Not eventually. This week. If this helped, subscribe. I put out honest, straightforward breakdowns like this every week. And if you know someone who's been waiting for the right moment to start getting their finances together, send this to them. Sometimes all it takes is the right video at the right moment. See you in the next one.